On BBC One and iPlayer with Angelica Bell
and Laura Laverne. And if that's not enough drama for you, put Fina and EastEnders actor Phil Daniels and Josh Finan.
Yes, you might already have spotted the subtle nod to it in our titles. The One Show is celebrating 20 years on air this year, 2 decades of telling the stories that matter to you. We cannot wait to mark the anniversary in August and to share some extra special moments along the way.
And later in the show, our very own Alex Jones.
But first, with yellow weather warnings in place for large parts of the country tonight, and with thermostats being turned up to cope with the freezing temperatures, lots of us are looking at ways to save on energy bills. It's good. Also tonight we've got lots more great TV. James Nesbitt's here talking about his starring role in Harlan Coben's latest addictive thriller Runaway, in which he takes the... Thank you, Joe. Some big decisions to make for people, and lots of people have been watching that with great interest, especially now. And in the coming weeks, we're going to have some more films looking at other things that might affect your decision to go green this year.
Yeah, do keep your eyes peeled for them. Time now to say hello to tonight's guests who have got great New Year TV shows. Actors James Nesbitt, Phil Daniels, Josh Finan and presenter Helen Skelton. Happy New Year! Happy New Year! Helen, you've been busy. You were up at the crack of dawn with Morning Live already.
I know.
You're raring to go for 2026.
Well, I feel like I've got withdrawal symptoms from my pyjamas and my Baileys and Home Alone. But yeah, I thought if we're back, let's do a double book. You know what it's like when you're out the house, you may as well commit.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's it. You're in a boot and a PVC skirt. Me too, babe. You just got to go with it. You've got to make it work. All right, let's start with our first TV treat, because he plays a father who goes in search of his missing daughter. Let's take a look. The number one, already the most watched show, love from people. Lots of people binging it already. Beta says, Runaway, a total binge watch for me.
Take my time with things. I've only watched the first one, but give us some background on the character and tell us where we find him when we start watching.
She disappears, and then in typical Harlan Coben fashion, it appeals to people, I think. And
like working with him because this is your third collab
with Minnie Driver, who plays your wife. You're also working with this brilliant younger generation of actors.
We enjoyed ourselves a wee bit when we were their age, and I think that a young one here who's doing the exact same thing.
Well, Josh, I know that you work with Martin Freeman, who you work with on The Responder, gave you a bit of advice.
Demands of yourself, do you know what I mean, in terms of a bit. And this by my sister, I said, I'm going to go and chat to Martin tomorrow. I was like, she brought me down a peg.
James, you mentioned about filming in Manchester. We know that place has a special hold. And now I don't know how you're going to feel about me bringing up the sacking today.
That was going to be our next question.
You love the place, so it must have been great to film.
That's the privilege of the job, you know.
Well, listen, on Netflix now.
Still to come, Helen will be chatting about the emotional...
Phil and Josh here.
Set in a men's prison, Josh's character Dan teaches philosophy lessons to inmates. However, the job leaves him questioning his own life.
Drama, this, is it? So viewers might expect, think that your character who's going in to kind of help these guys, but actually that couldn't be fair.
Sort of is... Remington went to uni and is now interested in sort of men, really, and different looks at what men are their heads. It shows the sensitive and intellectual side of the prisoners.
Bring Phil in now because you play Dan.
And prisons and how much fun prison was to him, and that he's, lived it. I watched it all last night. It was fantastic.
Because it's adapted from a memoir written where he was teaching philosophy.
It is sort of inspired by his, like anything he wasn't, Jenny. So he wasn't wearing socks the day we
grew up on the Wirral and were filming nearby. So, and apparently that meant your family could...
Yeah, because I've worked in Liverpool a little bit. And she was always like, "Oh, we'll come over from being it."
No,
well, look, it was a Christmas. Because of like, going again for us. Like they would tell us, wouldn't they, if we were doing it?
Actually, my daughter Mary she's an extra in Runaway.
Is she?
She gets to say...
Oh, my goodness. And Waiting for the Out continues on Saturday. It's at 9:35 p.m. on BBC One and iPlayer.
Right, spoiler alert, because in a moment we're going to be chatting to the first famous face to leave The Masked Singer at the weekend. So if you don't want to know who it is yet, go and make yourself a cup of tea.
Yeah. Have you gone? Good. Because we have so many questions to ask this person. Before we chat to them, here's how they got on Saturday night.
My flabber was well and truly gasted. She kept that very, very quiet.
Oh, my goodness. And we can go to Alex right now on a sunny Tuesday morning in New Zealand. You were amazing. What a surprise. I nearly fell off my sofa, I have to admit, but you did the plans for the show, so it must have been so exciting for everyone once they knew.
So I could avoid it. No, I had no idea it was you either. You disguised your voice so well. Your sister apparently... And another great reveal last night, because it turns out that Teabag was Professor Green, but you didn't know...
New Zealand, our visiting family. But quickly, tell us how excited you are to be celebrating 20 years of The One Show once you get back.
The rest of your break, we'll see you soon. Lots of love. Goes our singing star. And The Masked Singer continues this Saturday, 7 p.m. on ITV1 and ITVX.
Helen, do you think you could... In fact, you could
No.
be on Masked and The Masked Singer.
No.
We don't know.
No, I once sang many moons ago when it went out on TV. I had such a physical reaction. I hid under the desk. It was so bad.
Never again.
Never again.
Even if you get to dress up as a teabag, for example. That's been taken.
Hang on, maybe, yeah.
Well, one show that we know Helen loves doing is Lost and Found in the Lakes, which came back for a new series this afternoon. It sees Helen and her crack team of experts try to reunite people with their cherished possessions that they've lost around the Lake District.
And this series isn't just about losing things that are valuable, it's about the stories behind them. And Helen, tomorrow there's a sentimental object you're on the hunt for. After a fire?
Yeah, it's always about the story behind the object, about the story behind the object. You know, people come to us and they always go, oh gosh, I feel so silly for getting upset about a materialistic item. But it's never about that, you know, like wedding rings represent a chapter of life together. You know, quite often we have people who've lost their partners. You know, we had a lady who was 91 and paddleboarded. She lost her late husband's wedding ring and she said, when I wore it, I felt like I was holding his hand. Yeah. And tomorrow it's a different item. There was a fire on a boat. Sandra was living on this boat and she was, you know, doing something totally new, something random, living on the boat. Her whole life was on there. The boat went off and it went into the water. So we tasked our team with finding the item. I'm not allowed to say if we find it.
It's
on tomorrow.
So this is the search for the elephant, right?
The search for the elephant is on tomorrow, yeah.
OK, we can actually have a little look at that now. Let's see that. Oh, I mean... As you say, Helen, people have to tune in to find out how that one resolves. But I know there's a story that you loved about a cherished ring lost 60 years ago, another ring.
Yeah, so we get asked to find a lot of wedding rings. This was a wedding ring lost in 1966. So this guy's on the football sidelines. I'm sure you can all empathise, being dedicated followers of football. These two guys had a bust-up and the ring was lost for 60 years. We go back to try and find the wedding ring. But again, it's not... What's so wonderful is this gentleman stands there in front of me and, you know, we've all navigated life and marriages and divorces and grief and friendships. And he stood there and he said, I love my wife as much now as I did when I met her. This ring is a symbol of our life. It's a representation of our children and our grandchildren. And if I don't get it back, I don't feel like I'm doing our marriage justice. And everybody stood there in tears. Yeah. And everybody, you know, our team are so... I mean, they hate me because I stand on the side and I'm like, go that way, and they get freezing in the water.
But the team, it was really interesting to watch because I watched the first one today, which was so heartfelt and emotional. It's how you all care and they go out of their way, don't they, to try and solve, you know, the mystery, although not all the time it can get solved.
And it's genuine jeopardy because you go out and try and find a wedding ring in Lake Windermere or Ullswater. It is a needle in a haystack and then some. But the team, these aren't, like, they're not telling people absolutely freezing. Mike, who you just saw coming up to water, I have to nag him to get out because he's so blue. They do not want to give up on these stories because they know the story. You know, they've felt grief and joy and love and laughter and everything in between. So they never want to give up. I'm the one standing on the sidelines going, come on, enough now. Get in, it's dark. Like Nan.
Well, it's a great show. Lost and Found in the Lakes continues tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock on BBC One and iPlayer. And Helen will be back presenting Morning Live tomorrow morning from 9:30.
Phil, while we've got you here, we've got to ask, you're joining the cast of Father Brown. So exciting. We're going to give you a little peek at behind the scenes on that new series of Father Brown later this week.
Yeah,
well.
I just want to get a comment in. Carol says, I loved waiting for the out. A different angle on prisoners, stressful to watch, but great acting, already binged. Well done. Another binger.
Fantastic.
Exactly. That's all we've got time for. Thanks to all our guests for joining us. You've been brilliant.
Tomorrow we'll be back chatting to Pierce Brosnan and co-star Amir El Masri about the new Prince Nassim boxing movie Giant, plus Pete Wicks on his new show For Dog's Sake.
Yes, have a lovely evening. Thank you for joining us.